Always on time. Welcome to our first seminar for 2025. What an amazing thing. We've got lots of, pretty much a seminar every couple of weeks, either here or on a month basis or in Wellington. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up. This is a sort of a sad today. Rwanda is in conflict with, or the Democratic Republic of the Congo are being under attack at the moment, and so it's a very poignant moment, but also an important moment to talk about the issue that we've all sort of slid around. Really, Mr. Kagame has turned out to be somewhat of a problem for the West and for the people of the Congo and Rwanda. I'd like to introduce Red Zoma. Red is one of a Labour Party activist and a person that is Congolese and has come and studied in New Zealand and is really trying to contribute to the discussions on his homeland. But also Joseph Kimenyi, who is a Rwandan. And Joseph is living on Waiheke and has got some very interesting insights. We'll also be trying to introduce online Maria Armoudian, who's a lecturer at Auckland University, who is an expert on the earlier issues of genocide in Rwanda. And we will also introduce Michela Wrong, who has just written a fabulous book on the problems with Kagame and his rule in that country, Rwanda. So I'd like to introduce first up Red. Now, Michaela's coming in from London, so we gave her a 7:30 start time, which is actually a 6:30 start time, so AM start time. So hopefully you'll hang in there and she can come through at 7:30 on Zoom. So pass it over to Red. Thank you, Red.
Thank you, Paul, for that. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this event here today. But before we begin, I'd just like to pay my respect to someone who's associated with this building, who came to this building a lot, and he was a mentor, and we had his passing just recently. And he was a mentor, and he opened a door for many young people and politicians and activists. And that's Robert Gallagher. And he led City Vision, and he also he was a great member of the Labour Party. He was kind, calm, and he always came to this building. So we would like to pay our respect to Robert Gallagher, and may he rest in peace. Thank you. Kia ora koutou. I'd say bote and bonjour to you all. And thank you so much for coming. And my name is Red Zoma, and I'm from the Republic of the Congo. I was born in a city called Brazzaville. And Brazzaville is just across the river. Can we have the map? I'd like to show you first the background context of what this discussion is here about today. And I grew up in Brazzaville, which is next door to the capital city, Kinshasa. And sometimes we had people who come from Kinshasa, who cross the river, they come and work in Brazzaville, and at night they'll go back across the river. There are two countries, and both separated by the river. The Congo River goes along both of them, the border. And in the capital city of Brazzaville, every morning I could see the city on the other side. Congolese from DRC will come and work, and in fact we had people who were working for us in our house. And sometimes some were working for businesses as well, for parents who I grew up seeing that. But this also used to be part of one kingdom called the Kingdom of Congo. So technically we are same people, But colonization came and told us that we are different because of nationalism and boundaries as well. And until today, people believe that we are different because of these colonial boundaries. But actually, we are the same people. We speak the same language and the same culture as well. Dance and music is quite the same. So I grew up in that city of Brazzaville, and I was involved in 3 wars, 3 conflicts. And all of those wars, I was displaced. I had to leave my home, go seek refuge somewhere, and then come back later on out of those 3 conflicts. And coincidentally, I ended up studying conflict and terrorism studies at the University of Auckland. And that's why, and today I'm here having this discussion on conflict. Conflict wasn't the reason why I went into it. I was more interested in the terrorism parts, because when growing up, terrorism was a subject of discussion in the 9/11, and it was also in films. We watched, terrorism. So when it became available at the University of Auckland, I went into it because I was interested in that. And quite frankly, I also didn't know that I would be on the same discussion panel, with one of my lecturers of media and politics at the University of Auckland, Dr. Maria Armoudian, was with us today in this panel. So it's such an honor and a privilege to be here, to be speaking about these issues. So before we go into the topic of our discussion tonight, I just wanted to bring something to your attention that currently, as we're speaking right now, the situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo is deteriorating. And people are dying. About 1 million people have been already displaced in a few days in the eastern part of Congo, where the city of Goma has been taken by Rwanda's backed militia forces, M23. So I'd like to thank the Fabian Society for actually giving the opportunity to bring these foreign affairs issues up for discussion. And I believe it's the first African issue that we're discussing here by the Fabian, so I'd like to thank you for that. I also want to say that I was one of those many who are being displaced right now, leaving their homes with luggages on their head to seek safety and refuge. And New Zealand gave me that safety and the place that I now call home. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I urge you, all of you here today, to support and pray for Congo, and also support in any ways you can. And you can support by maybe talking about it, sharing on social media, and maybe requesting to increase the refugee quota. Maybe that will help, because there's a lot of displaced refugees now. But also sharing it so the New Zealand public can know about these issues, because we are interconnected. Some of these refugees will be coming here. So I also just want to acknowledge one of my friends who's here tonight, who actually inspired me to be speaking about this issue. And she was sharing a lot of these topics. She's here tonight. She was sharing it, and that's how I came. I wasn't outspoken about these issues before, but because I saw that she was sharing it a lot, and I also started to get interest, and I was interested. So I'd like to acknowledge her today. She's here. So everyone also can do that to bring attention to the New Zealand public as well. So thank you for that. So now, we will just go into the subject of discussion tonight, and which is Rwanda, Kagame, and the Congo. So it was about many years ago, one of the European Union parliamentarian, Mark Botenga, was denouncing the actions of Rwanda in the Congo. That Rwanda is committing instability, supporting the rebel factions. A quote where he noted that the Rwandan government is supporting the rebel forces M23. At the European Union, he was vocal and clearly spoke about these issues. That Rwanda is involved for the extortion and extraction of Congo's natural resources. Despite that, the UN last year reported that Rwanda is involved in the Congo supporting the rebel and creating instability and killing innocent people, and people have been displaced. But Paul Kagame has been denying these actions for many years. He was denying and he was denying. The UK signed an agreement with Rwanda to send refugees who are fleeing persecution from the UK to be resettled in Rwanda, a country that still has refugees, Congolese refugees, who are waiting to be resettled overseas by the UNHCR. Also, France signed an armed agreement with Rwanda a few years ago, despite the allegation, and Paul Kagame was denying and rejecting these allegations that they were false. Actually, on the 30th of October 2022, in a public meeting, he agreed. He recognized, he didn't agree directly, but he recognized by still pointing out the foreign powers. And here's what he said, that I acknowledge the Congolese people are blaming Rwanda, that Rwanda is stealing coltan and stealing copper and stealing all the minerals. We have nothing to do with it. And he said clearly, these are the words. He said, I know that some of these minerals are going through here, but they are not staying here. They're going to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Brussels, Tel Aviv, going to, he named the countries. That was one of the ways for him to say, we are not responsible, it's not happening here, it's not staying here. It's other people. Why don't you blame other people who are coming to buy it? That to us is already an indication that Rwanda, he's admitting a little bit, he's complicit. But later on last year, 2024, due to good journalism, in a tete-a-tete interview with France 24, France 24, which is France 24, he agreed that Rwanda is involved in the Republic of Congo, and he is ready to wage war. He's ready to fight with the Republic of Congo. But we can see that in the media, nobody was talking about the violation of international law and the human rights violation. In 2019, when I saw these things, I had the question that I asked myself, why is Rwanda getting a pass with all these issues? If it was another country, another leader who's causing these issues, there will be already condemnation and there will be sanctions. But there was no sanction from the United Nations, there was no sanctions from the European Union, or again, the democratic countries, the proponent of democracy. And we can also see that the last Rwandan election was a Soviet Union / Russian type election, which resulted in 99.1% of votes to Paul Kagame. I mean, even if you loved in a country, getting 99.1%, I'm sure there are people who can abstain, there are people who disagree. But also, on top of that, we know that he silenced prominent political opponents. In that election, they were removed out of the list. So hearing all these and seeing all these violations and lack of democracy, and also noting that he's been in power for more than 34 years, 34 years as a leader and leading the country, no country is talking about it. This also led me to a pertinent question that I asked recently. Is Paul Kagame really the Putin of Africa? And that's a question that some of our speakers tonight will be answering, and I'll leave it up to you, to the information they will be providing. We can also see that there's an expansionist agenda where he's expanding his influence all across not only the Congo, but also in part of central part of Africa, there's Burundi as well, and the other countries around. He acquired an agreement recently, the Rwandan government acquired an agreement to buy land in the Republic of Congo, where I'm from, and this land is to do agriculture. And we know already that there's been uprising in Congo and questions why is Rwanda buying lands there to do agriculture. But it's purely political, it's also demonstrating political influence and regional influence in a region. So that leads us to that question. The question that we're trying to answer tonight is Paul Kagame really the Putin of Africa? So that's it for me today, and I'd like to introduce our next speaker, if they are already with us. Dr. Maria Armoudian. Dr. Maria was not only my media politics lecturer, she was also my supervisor for my dissertation paper. So that's a huge privilege and honor to be with her in this discussion today.
Okay, hopefully we're going to get it. She's muted at the moment, and she's also hasn't got her video on. She's here, as you can see.
Yes.
You might like to call out to her. Maria, are you there?
Call her on the phone.
She has unmuted.
Maria, are you there?
It's amazing how you test these things.
Not online.
Not online.
No, audio.
Are you muted?
No.
All right.
I'm muted.
Maria, are you there?
Anything, I can't see
There she
anything.
goes. There she goes. There she goes.
I can't hear anybody.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, so I'm very confused. I'm so sorry. I thought that this was going to be a panel discussion and Red was going to start. No?
Yes, I did already start. And
No, okay. Red or, so I just wanted to. I just could not hear anything. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay. So, yeah, I just shared a little bit about the background story on Rwanda and its implication in the Republic of Congo. And would love, one of the questions that I did ask was that why is Rwanda getting a pass? Was it because Rwanda had the genocide? Is that the reason why the international community is a bit lenient towards Rwanda and not questioning the human rights abuses? And in fact, even I think in 2023 there was a world parliamentarian event which was held in Rwanda. In fact, our government, the Labour government, also participated there in Rwanda. And
I'm so sorry.
can you?
It's not coming through. It's not coming through.
You can join on phone.
She's muted here. She's muted herself.
No, she can join to another channel, like that group.
As I said, microphone should be. Yeah, microphone should be right.
Maybe the laptop. Do you want to bring the laptop closer? Can you speak? Maybe if you try Try if she can hear me. Maybe from the laptop. So while we get that sorted, is it okay we just get Joseph to share his story, his personal story from Rwanda? Can we please welcome Joseph Kimenyi?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the Fabian Society to have invited me. Tonight, probably the most recent topic of Rwanda and Congo will go through with Michela Wrong when she will be available. But for my side, I would like probably to tell you about a small history of Rwanda. But if you know about it, just let me stop me so we can move on. So I don't want to be talking too much. So Rwanda was a first colony of the German. So we were colonized by the German. And so the German, they found like two tribes, main tribe, the Hutus and the Tutsis. So the Tutsi were the aristocracies, monarchies, and the Hutu were like laborer, really like second-class citizens. So the German carry on helping the Tutsis to assert their power because the Germans were not much involved in social things like that. They were just looking for building railway to get minerals in Tanzania and things like that. And Rwanda is a very poor country, nothing underground, just probably beautiful skies, that's all. So there is nothing major, so it was there. And after the Second War, when the German lost, Belgium took over. So Belgium fight the German because the German had Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, what they call East African German. So when they lost, German took over, and the United Nations that time gave Belgium the countries, Rwanda and Burundi. At that time, they were like in one country, they were not separate. And on the side, as you see on the map, there was Congo, bigger Congo. And Congo is probably 87 times New Zealand. While Rwanda is 10 times smaller than New Zealand. So just to give you a perspective. So the Congo was private property of the King of Belgium. It was a private property, it wasn't a colony. He sold it to Belgium later on. So, and when the Belgium was administering the Rwanda and Burundi, so they all as well emphasize on the structure, political and societal structure that were there. So the Tutsi were favored and the Hutu were marginalized. The Hutu were just for doing the labor, and so when the Belgians started to build school, the Tutsi were only given schools, but the Hutu not. So that will carry on until 1948, when the UN, United Nations, Declaration of the Human Rights, they sent a team on different colonies everywhere to go to see if the colonial power is implementing the Universal Human Declaration. So that's why they found, like I say, the system in Rwanda was a kind of slavery from Tutsis to Hutus. So the United Nations asked the Belgian, who was the administrator, to change that situation. So in 1952, then the Belgian draft a roadmap how they can change that situation. Eventually, when you have power and money, when you have power, you don't learn to lose it, unless if you are really a democratic country. But when you are still in Africa, you don't want to lose it. When the Belgians started to draft that draft of the roadmap, they told the king, say, we will need to have some Hutu in the administration, we have to have some Hutu in school, blah, and say, and the Tutsi were not happy about that, so we can't share that it was our privilege. We can't share with them. Unfortunately, that was from above, so the Belgians said that is how it have to be. So some Hutus started to go to school, and some Hutus were given some job as well, and high job, but the king were refusing some of the job, it was kept on some jobs where the Hutu can't. At the same time, for those Hutu who were at school, they started just to voice up, say, we would like to have more, we would like to have, to share the power and the economic and social societies. And then, so things started just to be a little bit difficult. The Tutsis clinging onto the power, and the Hutu as well pushing, asking for more leverage to share the power. So later we sent always to the Belgian colony, to United Nations, one group sending a letter, the other one sending a letter, the other one sending a letter, no, this is not true, oh, this is not true, this is not true. And then by 1959, that's where, so the Tutsi saw that, sorry, the Tutsi saw that the Belgian, they thought like the Belgian are siding the Hutus because the Tutsi were losing the privilege. So they didn't get along with Belgium. They started just to be angry against Belgium. Oh, those guys, you came here, you are a white man, you don't belong to here, and now you are starting to shuffle what we have built. So, and then the Hutu people carry on also to ask more sharing power. And then the Tutsi say, enough is enough. On the 1st of November, the Tutsi decided to eliminate physically the Hutu who were asking for sharing. My dad was one of the first to be beaten up. They left it for dead, but unfortunately he was lucky he survived, but so many others, they died. Then the Hutus, who were a majority, 85%, against the Tutsi, 14%, all the Hutu rose up, said, look, enough is enough, we have suffered a lot, so it was like just to ignite the things that break the camel, the back of the camel. So, and then by numbers, that time, there was no gun, there was people were fighting, Tutsi and Hutus were fighting with machetes or spears or anything they found. So when you have 85% fighting with 14% by hand, by physically, I think the loser, it's obvious. So the Tutsi lost, and they didn't want to be shared the power with their former, like a kind of servant. So most of them, they ran away, they went into neighboring country as refugees. And then Rwanda gained independence, and the Hutu were leaders into the independence. And then from neighboring countries, the Tutsi wanted to take back the countries to rule again. So it was a clash between 61, 62, 63, a successful attempt until 1967, not far away. So I was born in 1956, so 67 I was 11 years old. So we always have that kind of fear that Tutsi are coming back, Tutsi are coming back. Every single time they're crossing the border from Uganda, most of them, they went to Uganda. So by 67, the government of Rwanda had built its robust army, and the Tutsi found that it was difficult now to be engaging in a war, so they went quiet. And in 1981, as they were refugees in Uganda there was a civil war engaged by Museveni, the current president of Uganda. To engage in a bush war, he went to recruit all the Rwandan in the refugee camp. Around like 5,000-6,000 people were recruited to fight along Museveni. So they fought, I think, for about 5 years, and in '86, Museveni won the war. Most of his fighters were Rwandan. Well trained. Some were trained in Mozambique, trained in Angola, in Tanzania, things like that. So by '90s, they said, look, we are 8,000 people, strong forces. Why can't we go back home? We need to go back home to take back our power, our country. Ruled by Hutus, we don't want to share. So that's why on the 1st of October '90s, the Tutsi came back armed and attacked Rwanda. So the civil war went on for nearly 4 years until 1994. So in the meantime, every groups, either the Hutu in the government, the Tutsi in the rebel, they were committing a lot of crime against humanity. If you just both genocide, it is documented that both groups really have committed a crime. So fortunately, the Tutsi won the war, 1994, after the genocide. Winning the war, there was also some involvement of other outside forces. And so there was outsider forces. For example, the US. The US were much involved. The current president, Paul Kagame, who was the leader of the rebel group, was trained in Leavenworth in Kansas to be a spy, to be a leader. So the US trained him. And also the French people were training the Rwandan government, because the French, that time, Rwanda was a French speaker country, Congo was a speaking country, Burundi is a French speaker, so the French didn't want to lose influence. So but US and France, I think the power went into the most powerful country on earth. So the guy who were supported by US won the war. So, but winning the war, it wasn't enough, because all those crimes committed by both parties will have a big impact on the future of the country. So they created a United Nations International Tribunal for Rwanda in 1996 to try every crime committed in Rwanda from 1994. But because the US had a lot of interest in the Tutsis who have won the war, they put a blanket on not try any Tutsi who have committed the crime. Only Hutus will be tried. So that made a difference after the genocide, how people live. So the International Tribunal were just looking for the loser, and the winner, who are Tutsi, were granted like immunity. That's why the society today of Rwanda is quite hard to understand that what the government said that there is a unity, it's not any unity. So from that injustice given to the loser, in Rwanda as well, the system as well was built in terms of favoring the Tutsi and the Hutu. And one of the things is, they call it like the genocide against the Tutsis. But it is not true. At the same time, by the same people, Hutus and even some Europeans were killed at the same time by the same people, and they were killed because who they were. So yes, mostly probably were Tutsis, but there is so many Hutus who died. And also one of the things was, when the Tutsi rebel attacked Rwanda, I'm not sure if it is intentional, but they were arming civilians. The civilians were armed in the Rwandan society, And so when everything broke down, those who were armed were targeted, being killed with the whole family. So, for example, if a group of militia will find someone, we know that someone has a AK-47 at home, they will go and kill probably everyone, 90 elder women or an old men with 95 years old or baby, so everyone will be killed because they will say, you are hiding weapon, that weapon is going to be against us. So yeah, that's how it was possible for the genocide to be so fast. And when you see on the as I said to you, Rwanda is 10 times smaller than New Zealand. It's like the size of Waikato. So if you put like 7 million people over there, it is easy to go to kill really 1,000 people just a day because the people they are crammed on one side. So it's not like moving from Auckland to go to kill someone in South or whatever. So you have 6 million in the Waikato region. So you could imagine. So when you go, so it is easy. It is easy. So there was no sophistication saying that the genocide had been planned or the genocide had been. There is no planning. So far, the International Tribunal Court have not found any planning or any planification for the genocide. So what is inside Rwanda now for the moment? What is inside Rwanda is just the Rwandan government, which is mainly Tutsis leaders. They emphasize on Tutsi genocide, while other people like myself I call Rwandan genocide. Even recently, the US and the UK have said that it is Rwandan genocide because there were so many Hutus who have been killed at the same time by the same people for the same reason. So what it does mean inside Rwanda itself? Inside in Rwanda, so all the foreign aid helping like orphans, widow, or that, they are channeled on Tutsis because the government today, they don't want to recognize that the Hutu have been killed as well. So, which means like the Tutsi, they are the only one who have scholarship, for example. And the Tutsi, they are the one who have their houses built because their house was destroyed during the genocide. Because the genocide is a genocide against the Tutsi, not against the Hutu. So the Hutu will not have anything. So and now you see in Rwanda there is people living on one side, some very, very poor, and some very, very, not very wealthy, but having some beautiful houses built by the government, and those who have nothing, and whose both of them have lost their people at the same times. So you could imagine, and Rwanda, as we say now, I think we know how to make a baby. For the moment now, we are 14 million in Rwanda. So 14 million. So you could imagine a street where you see people who doesn't have nothing and people who the government give nothing. And two, in schools, children of Tutsis who have been given, say, they are survivors of the genocide, they are given a scholarship, they are given a uniform. But for the Hutus who have been survivors of the genocide, they are not recognized, so they are not given anything. So in school, you can see who is Tutsis and who is a Hutu, who is poor, who is a Tutsis, the one who is who have a better uniform, who have anything provided for the school is provided by the government. So that is make a big difference in terms of so the kids grow up now knowing more than ever before, who is Hutus and who is Tutsis. And then moreover, because it was as the Tutsi were fighting when they lost the power in '59, so they had like a revenge they were vengeful. So we lost our power, we have to come back. So they come back with such revenge. So today, President Paul Kagame himself, he said that like 10 years ago, say all the Hutus, whether you are born today or yesterday, you have to ask forgiveness to a Tutsi because of your grandparent, or your father has committed the genocide. So the genocide now it is used for the whole ethnic group of Hutus to minimize them. So you can't. So before you get even a job, you have to say, I am sorry for what my father did. So it's normally a crime as an individual, so but they make it like so. That is how the situation in Rwanda is. Are Rwanda very happy? I don't think so. According to World Happiness Index, I think Rwanda is among 147, just around Afghanistan, among the unhappiest country. And a small anecdote which I finish with this is my cousin who he's still in Rwanda, and yeah, when we talk on the phone, say, hey, hi, how is, oh, everything is okay, everything was okay. Yeah, everything is okay? Yeah, but can you give me $100? So how come you are saying you are okay, but you are asking me money? Yeah, we are poor, we don't have anything. Yeah, but I can't tell you. Oh, okay, yeah. So you give them $100. A week later or 2 months later, the same conversation. So they can't talk the misery, they live in it, but they try to ask for. So, and 2 years ago, I financed her travel to go to Belgium because she was sick. She wanted to go to have a medical attention in Belgium. So when she got to Belgium, I picked my phone, put on camera, because I wanted to see her and talk to her, and said, hey, hi, how is things? Oh, yeah, it is good. Say, how is Kagame? Shut up! Shut up! No one talk about that guy. Shut up! So she was in Belgium, but she can't even talk about Kagame. So I saw her, she was running, she went to the toilet to be able to talk to me, and she said, no one talk about that guy. You say that in future. So she had to borrow a friend of mine a telephone to be able to tell me what's going on in Rwanda. Because everyone believes they follow you on the phone. Everyone believes in Rwanda you are listening. Everyone believes that, so even what you tell your wife is going to be known. So that's how the life of Rwanda is. So thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Joseph, for that introduction. I just wanted to highlight that Mr. Joseph and his family welcomed us in Palmerston North when we first came to New Zealand, when we were resettled. And yeah, we know each other since 2006, and we know their family. They welcomed us into New Zealand. So thank you for that clear and deep explanation of Rwandan historical context and to the genocide, and as well as the situation now with Paul Kagame. So you can imagine already what it's like to live in Rwanda right now if you're Tutsi or Hutu. Obviously there are privileges, and because of that. So thank you for sharing. We have Michela Wrong who's joining us from the UK. So we're probably going to have a break.
10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes break. She's joining us, and yeah, she wrote, her book was Do Not Disturb, a story of a political murder, an African regime gone bad. So she did her research extensively, and she lived also in Rwanda, and did research with expatriates who are living overseas, who've been 3 times also killed by Kagame. So we're looking forward to hearing that. And after the break, yeah, we have a great, yes, can we?
Oh, sorry, just before we break, are you able to give us a 60-second explanation of the state of Congolese present governance and
Yes.
yeah, If Rwanda is wanting to expand westward into Congo, what kind of resistance they're going to encounter, and also who are Congo's international backers?
Yes. Yes, we can do that. So right now, the current president is Felix Tshisekedi, and there's at the United Nations. They've already had 2 Security Councils meeting because of the foreign. So one was organized by Morocco, and the second one was organized by, I think, the Congo, about the situation in Rwanda, between Rwanda and Congo. So right now, the Rwanda is most likely supported by other countries as well, like Uganda around. But we don't really know whether they have a goal to go all the way to occupy the whole country. Right now, they arrived in Goma. There's still resistance as well in Goma. There's still a few pockets of resistance according to the Congolese government. And it depends. Rwanda, actually, what I didn't mention, Rwanda sent 4,000 troops. But according to the report of the United Nations that came out last year, towards November, 4,000 troops were sent. Rwanda's military troops are in Congo. That's the reason why the city of Goma probably fell. There were also mercenaries who were fighting with the Congolese government, who've been actually also arrested by M23. So M23 has this power because they are backed by Rwanda's forces. But the Congolese army, like we were discussing about this, the Congolese army is not capable enough to fight because they don't have a stronger army. And the president is a new president. He didn't spend a huge amount of money on defense, on strengthening the military. So at the moment they had the peacekeeping, who came from South Africa, Uganda, and Kenya. There's been 15 people who already died, and so the UN peacekeepers who were working in Goma have been actually evacuated through Rwanda. So at the moment, the Congolese government doesn't have any, I think the Congo doesn't have any backing in terms of like military, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I know, there's no backing at the moment, but they are trying to put pressure on the international community, like the UN. There's been also, Germany has already sanctioned Rwanda by cutting its economic development funding and requested the withdrawal of troops from the eastern part of Congo. So that's a very good action that actually, if every democratic countries or countries that are partisan of the UN actually do sanction, probably it can make a difference. But yeah, that's as far as we know. I think France has also denounced, but we know France has never taken a strong position on these issues. So yeah, they condemned a little bit of that. But if France can take a strong stand, maybe cut that military fund agreement actually they had with Rwanda, it's probably going to make a difference. So that's the situation right now. There's been protests also in Kinshasa, where few embassies have been actually destroyed and burned by the civilians. So that's how bad the situation is going. It's going fast. And there are actually even civilians who are marching in the street of Kinshasa asking for the president to give them weapons so they can go over to Rwanda. Like, if we show you the map, Rwanda is just a tiny little country and cannot compare to the population of 102 million people in Congo. So that's just the situation right now in terms of like the backing. Yes, maybe you want to add.
Yeah, do you still have a question?
No, she said thanks. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, just probably I will explore more about the situation in Congo, but we leave it for Michela Wrong when she there. So, just to give you the background, when the Conference of Berlin in 1885 divided the whole Africa, some part of, they didn't take care of the communities how they were in different countries, West Africa, South Africa. So you have, so one morning people just wake up, a family was in Zimbabwe, and the other family was in Zambia, the same as one family was in Rwanda, the other family was, yeah, that's how it is. So a big part of the Eastern Congo was part of the Kingdom of Rwanda. Then, when Kagame then, as a Tutsi won the war in Rwanda, became president, he have an eye on those minerals which are on the area where Rwanda used to be. So that's why he's starting to claim that we have to revise the border of 1885. So, because those borders belonged to Rwanda, and they are minerals. So that is one thing. So if they were not mineral, I think there won't be any fight. So it's just like, so, and the first mineral, it is an area where you don't even need, you just get a hole, you dig, you find like a gold, you just go cobalt, uranium, everything. It's just a God given, to be honest, how those kind of things exist in some area. So that is one thing. The other thing was, during the time of colonial, Belgium was the one exporting all those minerals. So a tiny Belgium supplying the whole world with iron, uranium, blah, blah, blah. So the American people say, oh, hang on a second, why this tiny Belgium is just getting all of these and we don't get any? So it was on the American eye. And just to give you an idea, the atomic bomb that bombed Nagasaki, the uranium came from Congo, sold by Belgium to uranium. So the American people, they knew that that area is crucial to the future of the industry. So then Kagame, the current president as well, I think he has been well trained to know what the European people want and give to them. If you remember, in 1992, there was a chopper, American chopper, that was shot down in Somalia, and 12 American people were killed, paraded in the street. From that time, the European people have said, we are not going to send any more troops to fight anymore in Africa or whatever. So Kagame saw that as an opportunity. So he have created an army, about like 15, 20,000 people, and those one, train them, and then they are the majority of the UN peacekeepers in Haiti, in South Sudan, in blah, 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 whatever you name it. So, and that is a kind of what his tool of bargaining. That's why he can't even have a sanction, because every single time a European country say, oh, you are violating the human right. Okay, I will take my troop out of Haiti. I will take my troop out of Sudan. I will take my troop out of Zimbabwe, blah, blah, blah. So some Europeans keep quiet. And the other thing was, they have, Kagame and his government, they have built a story around the genocide. And they always have to say, where were you? Telling European people. So are you going to tell me now how to do things? Where were you during the genocide? Our people were killed, where were you? So the European people will just fell down. So there is no answer. So that is one weapon he have. So he shut down every European, every American, say, when they start to say, oh, you are doing this wrong, you are attacking Congo. So they have to go beyond that. So where they reach there, yeah. So that is the complexity of the situation. And so the Europeans have accepted so far that the mineral from Congo can be taken to Rwanda and be sold to the whole world. that's why the Congolese people have started just to launch like a legal battle against Apple, the big company that makes smartphones, because most of those minerals, they are used in electronics. So thinking that if Apple stopped to buy mineral non-traceable from Rwanda, the Rwanda will not be able to sell those minerals, then the fueling of the war will be stopped. Maybe they will get there, I'm not sure. So that is the conversation. Then how Kagame then managed, oh yeah, okay, how long is it?
Yeah, there's still a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so how Kagame then managed to get away with that is just like, so as I said to you, the area of where they fight was inhabited by Rwandan before, speaking the same language. So he armed them against the Congolese, because like when they cut off, they got Congolese IDs. They became Congolese, but originally they were from Rwanda. So Kagame went and told them, say, look guys, I can give you this, I can give you such. So we need this area. We need this area for us. So those Rwandan of origin, but Congolese, so they put arm, and Kagame armed them to go to fight in the Congo. So that is, yeah. Michela Wrong will be able to explain more than that. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Any other question before Michela joined us? Any other questions on that? Yes. Okay.
The current conflict that's going on,
Yes.
is that contributing to it, or is the northern part on the other side of the river, are they just standing aside from what's going on, or are they participating?
Okay. So before I answer that, I'll just say, could you please check the sound is working, because Michela cannot hear us, because if you just check that while we're doing this. I don't know if you could see the map, but so the two Congos are not fighting with each other. But however, the move that the Republic of Congo made to sign an agreement with Rwanda, it's seen by the other side as a violation, because Congo, if there was a map, so Congo Brazzaville and Congo DRC had an agreement to build a bridge between the two cities. It's the closest two cities in the world. I grew up by that river. I used to go fishing there with my granddad. But there's no bridge that crosses both countries together, so it was good for an economic development. And now that the DRC has a conflict with Rwanda, and Rwanda is expanding its influence, Paul Kagame's agenda, expansionist agenda, and so he wanted to make a deal with the Republic of Congo, and to the others, it's kind of like it's a bit of a betrayal, but there's no, there's no conflict per se at the moment. Okay. Is the sound okay? Now? Can you hear us, Michela?
Yes, I can.
Great. I'll just welcome Mr. Joseph to welcome Michela. Can we please have Mr. Joseph to introduce Michela? Thank you.
Hi, Michela.
Hello.
Thanks very much for accepting this invitation, Michela. We know it is quite early hours in London, but we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's okay.
A small just introduction to Michela Wrong. Michela Wrong is a British author and a journalist. She has written 5 best-selling books on Africa. And in the mid-90s, she covered the genocide in Rwanda, and its aftermath as a young reporter for Reuters, BBC, and the Financial Times. And at that time, like many other reporters or journalists or diplomats, and any workers, they're commenting on those turbulent events. She initially saw the Rwandan Patriotic Front, the party of Kagame Paul, and its leader as a benign players whose intervention spelled a welcome end to grotesque level of inter-ethnic violence. So she wrote a book about Rwanda in 2021, Do Not Disturb. It is a story about a murder of a Rwandan in South Africa. And so today, we are here to hear Michela Wrong, and I'm going to ask her some questions, but feel free to ask some questions as well, so she can be able to respond to that. Is there anything you want me to add, Michela, before we start?
No, that's fine, let's just start.
Thank you. So the first question, Michela, is you covered the genocide in Rwanda, and the other, you saw that the Kagame was a savior and a hero for some, but later on you discover that it is the opposite. So can you tell us what event made you to be aware of that, that is Kagame is a ruthless ruler in his homeland, if you have witnessed or something like that? Are you able to tell us about that, Michela? Thank you. Can you still hear me? Yeah. Yeah, the next question is probably to see. Hello. Yeah. Yeah, the next question probably I would like to know, because you have covered all those events in Rwanda and you followed much what's happened in Rwanda. And Rwanda, sometimes we hear it is ranked among the 147 out of 160 in world happiness, that is not happy people. But on the other hand, we hear that Rwanda have successfully achieved reconciliation among these people, and Rwanda is a safe country. Even your home country, Britain, wanted to send refugees in Rwanda because it is believed it is the safest country in Africa. So are you aware that Rwanda is safe or is not safe, or how Rwandans themselves see themselves in Rwanda, and what do you think about that?
I think Rwanda has managed an incredible feat of creating an image of itself in the eyes of the world, and it's not just happened to do that. Rwanda is a very poor country, but a lot of its money is spent on lobbying and on PR, and it hires Western PR companies who are very good at what they do at presenting a certain image of Rwanda. And one of the things I talk about in my book is how there's this huge gap between the reality of life in Rwanda for Rwandans and the image that is presented abroad. As you said, Joseph, abroad, you get the impression that Rwanda is Switzerland of Africa. That's the phrase people sometimes use. It's always stressed how clean it is, how neat, how tidy, how little rubbish there is. The capital, Kigali, looks beautiful. Can I carry on? Yes, okay, I can hear my own voice coming back at me, but I'll just keep talking. Okay, so there is this image of Rwanda as the Switzerland of Africa. I did a little bit of investigating of the statistics on growth, on development, on poverty alleviation on Rwanda when I was writing the book. And it's quite clear when you look at all these statistics that they don't really stand up to scrutiny. They're often exaggerated or very, very different from the reality. As I'm sure you know, Joseph, there's a shocking amount of malnutrition in the countryside in Rwanda, and even Kagame himself has talked about the 30% stunting of children in rural areas. The other thing is I find it very strange in the West that we're presented with this image of Rwanda as being safe. As you know, my country, Britain, under the last government last year, which was toppled in July, we had an election that changed governments. They were proposing to send asylum seekers to Rwanda, unwanted asylum seekers, and it was very important to that government that they should present Rwanda as a safe place to go. I've spent the last 4 days writing and doing interviews about what's happening in neighbouring Congo, where we are seeing the Rwandan troops pouring into Congo, supporting Congolese rebel movement, the M23, which has been fighting UN peacekeeping force and Congolese armies street to street in the capital of Goma, the capital of North Kivu, and is now marching. Goma has fallen. It's now marching on Bukavu, the capital in South Kivu. So, Rwanda, I find it very strange that people will visit Rwanda and you'll see these glossy images and people will say how safe it is, while it is wreaking such violent order on its neighbour. You can't really isolate
Thank you so much for that. We will come back on that question of the Congo as it is a pressing question. But I want just to ask you, for example, you've been in Rwanda, you saw the RPF guy winning the war, you
Sorry,
interviewed
I've lost
them.
the question, Joseph. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Better? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we will come back to the Congo later, but I just wanted to ask you two questions, your personal experience. You was in Rwanda, you was a free journalist, but when you write your book, I saw how now the Rwandan on the net, they call you a genocide denier, a genocide revisionist, things like that, revisionist. So what kind of experience Kagame uses? What they wanted just probably is you not to publish the book. So it is a tactic probably they use to silence people. And I heard that as well, that the regime of Kagame, they silence people everywhere on the whole world. To give you an example, the Freedom House, which is a non-profit organization, American organization, it says that Rwandan transnational repression is exceptionally broad in terms of tactic, target, and the geographic reach. Have you experienced those kind of things, Michela?
Well, yes, I've experienced them, and this started actually even before my book was published, because the Rwandan government, of course, heard that I was writing the book. People who support the government, who are loyal to it, Western writers who really admire Paul Kagame, were being sent copies of my book to review. So word got back to the Rwandan government, and already the intimidation and the attempts to silence me started. And what writers like me, because there are many of them, that we will, we challenge the government narrative, the narrative of the miraculous RPF and the shining visionary leadership of Paul Kagame. People like me, very targeted and determined campaign is waged to shut us up. So when I've gone to speak in Belgium, I've had events cancelled because people who I assume are sent by the Rwandan embassy,
Recording stopped.
three men are killed at the restaurant where I was due to speak, and threatened staff. The restaurant cancelled the event. I've had similar things happen in South Africa where I was due to make a presentation. Suddenly my event was cancelled. It turned out it was because Rwandan officials had rung the people who were going to host the event to tell them to stop. And because they had a joint project going with the Rwandan think tank in South Africa, they agreed to cancel the event. As you know, Joseph, I was in New Zealand visiting and giving talks in New Zealand.
Recording in progress.
I gave 4 talks in New Zealand, and there was an incredible campaign waged on Twitter where I was being bombarded, my account was being bombarded with accusations of being racist and genocide, and the think tank
Recording stopped.
that was hosting my event was harassed and sort of told that they needed to cancel this well-known genocide. And I found that extraordinary because, New Zealand is on the other side of the world from where I live. It's also on the other side of the world from Rwanda. There are not that many Rwandans who live in New Zealand. But even in New Zealand, this kind of network and this of Rwanda bullies, the trolls, they even will try and silence people as far away as Australia and New Zealand. So it's this incredible global network because, as you know, Joseph, Rwandans, who led the genocide, who have led the repressive nature of the RPF, they have travelled around the world and settled around the world. And wherever you have a Rwandan embassy, you basically have often this kind of
Thank you so much, Michela. That is frightening. Going back to Congo, I can't remember how many times Rwanda have invaded the Congo, but since 1996. So every time Kagame wants to go to Congo, he can just go in Congo. But so far, there has not been any sanction. It's only yesterday the Home Secretary of Britain just gave a strong warning to Paul Kagame. It was in The Guardian this morning. So the question I have for me is, why Kagame get away with that? What does he want into the Congo? And why the international community just look at him and look the other way? Do you know anything about that, Michela? You can just explain to us.
Yes, I think, people like me are comparing what is happening now in Congo, where, you are seeing a Congolese rebel group supported by Rwanda capturing all this area, or this territory, and also this key city, Goma. And back in 2012, when the same rebel group did something very similar, you saw Western donors who gave money to Rwanda. Rwanda is very dependent on foreign aid. They just halted their foreign aid and said, if you carry on doing that, you won't be getting any foreign aid. And it involved $240 million. And because Rwanda needs that aid, it immediately, the M23 was dispersed extremely quickly, and rebels went back to Rwanda and Uganda where they had originated. This time that's not happening, and I think what you've seen is that Kagame has been extremely clever at making himself indispensable and useful to the West. So he has rightly identified that the West is very worried about security in Africa. France relies on Rwandan peacekeeping troops to patrol a liquefied gas installation in Mozambique that had been closed down by a jihadi group that was active in Mozambique. And the Rwandan troops have more or less imposed, they've installed security once again around the gas installation. My country, as I mentioned, had this extraordinary cynical deal, which I thought was appalling, but was quite popular here in the UK, where people are very anti-immigration now. And this idea that the British government of the day, the Conservative government, was going to send tens of thousands of asylum seekers that we didn't want to be processed in Rwanda and stay in Rwanda. I mean, it was a really bizarre deal, because Rwanda, as you know, is the most densely populated country in Africa. So we would be saying we don't have room for these people, but Rwanda, which has a bigger, more densely populated territory than anywhere else in Africa, has room for them. But the Rwandans offered, they volunteered to play that role. And that meant that during the entire period in which that project was being discussed here in the UK, it was challenged in the courts, and there was an appeal process launched, it was challenged again. During that entire period, the British government would not say a single word of criticism about Rwandan support for this increasingly powerful rebel movement in Congo. And I think if you look at the States as well, they've been very critical about Rwanda and the role it has played in the Congo. But it's all just words, and the few sanctions that they have announced have been really of
that is pretty scary. I have had a question really to myself for a long time. I think in 2012, one of the warlords from Kagame, Bernard Ntaganda, was sentenced to 25 years by the ICC. And among the things he was alleged was using sexual violence as a weapon. But that gentleman was a deputy of Kagame, and such a violence has never been experienced by any other people. And in Congo, the violence over there have just gone beyond the normal thinking of what they do. Is like, so the UN reports have said that more than probably 500,000 of women and girls are being raped. There was a time, I think, Dr. Mukwege, the Nobel Prize winner, he said that I think 148 women were being raped a day in the Congo for a number of years. So why the whole world really shut the eyes or don't say anything in front of such horrible things done to the population? What the Congolese people have done not to be looked after by the community, by all of us?
Yes, it's good you talked about that, Joseph, because the Panzi Hospital is where Dennis Mukwege, that Congolese gynecologist who has won the Nobel Peace Prize, he's actually based at Panzi Hospital, which is in Bukavu, and these rebels, the M23 rebels, are actually marching there as we speak. So I would have thought, I don't know if Dennis Mukwege is in Bukavu now, but I would have thought this is a good time for him to leave, because he has been a very outspoken critic of Rwanda and its role in Eastern Congo, and he has already had several attempts on his life. So I hope that he keeps himself safe and makes sure he doesn't get caught up in what the M23 is planning for Bukavu. I think, yeah, what we know is that over 100 militia groups, 150, sometimes talk about, sometimes even talk about more than 200 militia groups are active in Eastern Congo. And I often see this, this scenario of chaos and looting and villages being burnt and women raped and displaced people constantly on the move, which is the experiences of many of these Congolese villages over the last few years and decades now. It's often presented by Kagame and Rwanda as though Congo is always like this, it's always been like this, and what can we do? This is a chaotic, anarchic, corrupt country, and its government in Kinshasa doesn't know how to run it, and therefore, in a way, what's happening there can't really be held to the same standard as if it's happening anywhere else. And I think it's a very convenient way of dismissing the suffering of all these people, and also very cynical presentation, because of course the Eastern Congo is as violent, anarchic, corrupt as it is, and a place where children and women and civilians are not safe and constantly in the move, and so often end up in these large, horrible, horrid refugee camps, is because of the support that Rwanda has given so many of these rebel groups over the years, the last few decades. So Kagame likes to sneer at Congo and its chaos and anarchy, actually has ensured and made sure that Eastern Congo remains in that condition, and we should not be boasting about, and benefiting from that narrative.
On behalf of the audience at the New Zealand Fabian Society, Michela, we would like really to say thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And it was really nice to see you and accepting really to get up early in the morning. And so we might see you again. And thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, we've got Maria online, but she will just add, maybe anyone has questions for Michela? All right. Yes. Maria, can you hear us now?
I can hear you much better. I'm so sorry for the problems earlier. Oh my God, Michaela, that was so amazing to hear everything you have to say about the current day. I think the only things that I would add, because my studies related to Rwanda were really trying to understand it within the context of really how media are used for conflict or for peacemaking. And so the book that you referenced in the flyer read was Kill the Messenger, the Media's Role in the Fate of the World. And it was really about how certain people and situations are framed, like how we talk about these situations in such a way as to either bring peace to a society, to bring empathy and compassion to people, or to, in the worst case scenarios, lead to genocide. And so I had studied the RTLM's framing, the far-right wing Hutu power media, and how they were talking about not just Kagame's rebel groups, but also about all Tutsis, like killed by association, and how they had referred to them, and how they helped people root them out and find them, and demand that they all be killed. And so what we ended up seeing, of course, was even among people who were close relations, sometimes there were even like a husband killing a wife, or a brother killing a brother, or a doctor killing patients, because some of them had been persuaded that they had to do this for the sake of the country. The kind of reversal that Michaela is talking about in terms of now, it's not altogether uncommon. You do see people who have been subject to genocide also been turning the tables and making things so harsh on the others. The other thing I really think is important not to forget is the legacy of colonialism, and that the stories that were disseminated from the Belgian colonizers at the time, and the division between the us and the them, of the Tutsi and the Hutu, and giving favor to the Tutsi because they were allegedly more like Westerners and perhaps they came from Ethiopia. All of that stuff, contributed to the kind of resentment that can build between groups. You can take people who are exactly identical and create us and them out of them. You can generate hate by certain kinds of language, targeting and generating negative emotions. So we saw that during the genocide, and it sounds like from everything Michaela and Joseph were talking about, they were kind of seeing it the other way around now. So these are tools that are used by what you might call malignant leaders when they want more power, and they're willing to hold on to that power through very inhumane, human rights violating means. And so those are kind of the two things that I would just add here.
Yeah.
Can I comment? Do I have time?
Yes, you can comment. Yes.
Yeah, I think, there's a saying in Rwanda, it says, an order is heavier than a stone. And I think it's it's a good, it's a sort of really insightful comment, because I think Rwanda in particular, as you probably know, used to be a kingdom, and run by a king who was a Tutsi. And I think one of the reasons, people will say, why was there genocide in Rwanda? And I think it's a society in which borders, hierarchy, bureaucratic control encouraging people to kill Tutsis, there was more of a tendency to obey than there would have been in many other societies. I often think that that would have been impossible to organise in neighbouring Congo because, you know, that kind of, Congo is a more anarchic place where individuals think for themselves and don't obey, you know, there's never been that rigid, controlled, bureaucratic structure. So I think that saying an order is heavier than the stone have also applied in sort of today, in that because it's a small society, it's a very intense, you know, close-knit society, social media has been a gift to Kagame. And if Fabian had been alive during the period where social media existed, he would have definitely used it in the same way that Kagame does. Because it's a wonderful way of basically spreading a message, a obligatory message. This is what everyone now is supposed to think. And, you know, in my case, it's kind of like, these are the writers that are not, that are regarded as enemies of the state. And these opposition people, you know, are going to be ignored and sidelined. And these journalists you should not listen to. And I think social media has been a fantastic gift to Kagame. A lot of his training was in military disinformation as a young man, as a young rebel in Uganda. He went off and trained in Tanzania, military disinformation and controlling information. He's always been very focused on how you can use methods of modern communication to spread the message and impose the narrative, and he does it brilliantly.
Yes. Thank you so much. But just before we close, I also just wanted to highlight that we cannot ignore the role of the media in shaping the image of Kagame and Rwanda and the current situation in the Congo. But before I list that, because you can see that Kagame has been in power for many years, and what role did the media play in that? And therefore, the media has been also complicit in that, not only during the genocide, but also of the current situation and development of the dictatorship that happened, human rights violation, and the main media hasn't been putting pressure, because the media has an important role in putting pressure on leaders. But somehow we can understand from what Dr. Maria said and Michela that the media has been complicit in this. And I'll just share regarding the current situation in the Congo. There are some certain news who haven't been covering this and talking about this. So we have BBC, TF1, which is a French, CNN, CBS, El País, Al Jazeera, NBC, and France, and AJ. These big media corporations haven't been covering the situation of putting pressure on Rwanda. As we heard that Rwanda is just a small country that relies on foreign aid. So all this can be stopped. And one day, if people, leaders who are courageous, just come and say, look, we need immediate withdrawal, and it has to cease, it has to stop, it can be done. So that's, I just wanted to share that in terms of like media. The media role is very important in shaping.
Yeah, let me just say a few things about that, because first of all, I think it overstates the power of the media. I know that during the Syrian war, there was so much coverage, and it just, I talked to so many journalists who said nobody's really doing anything. Not that they weren't, but it's like that went on for so long with mass atrocities. And it's just not quite as, like, just because the media covers something doesn't mean it's going to get addressed with any kind of official actions beyond what, what's being done. But you're right that the big media do not cover most conflicts. They do not cover most countries. That's partly a function of their own suffering, because there is so much less support for these big media outlets, with the exception perhaps of Al Jazeera now, a little bit BBC, but even the BBC is being challenged, by people who don't want to fund it anymore, who don't want to pay for it anymore, but especially the corporate media. They really able to sustain foreign bureaus, nearly to the extent that they once could. This is partly because all of the advertising dollars that they used to rely on are going to social media outlets like Google, and then Google often just uses their contacts with exceptions to then just generate more ad revenue. And so it's partly not a function of not wanting to cover it, but a function of kind of the economic structures of those traditional media. But that said, journalists often they're not in the bureaus, they don't have the foreign bureaus where they can keep up with things. Journalists often do rely on their own leaders and governments to at least lead them down a path. Like in the US, it might be through the State Department that they find a lead if there's not a foreign bureau. Because if there's not a foreign bureau, how do you get your leads? So it's really a new, difficult situation for traditional journalists, with some exceptions. Michela is obviously doing amazing work. But you're not going to get like as many to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
they're all attacked like Michela is when they do good investigative work.
Yes.
Whether it's in Rwanda or it's, in another, all those journalists who were killed in Gaza. I mean, they weren't even just attacked on Twitter, they're dead. So, I mean, you really have to consider how hard it is these days to get information, good information, truthful information out there, both because of the social media and the trolls and the kind of dispensability of journalists. Like, it used to be that you didn't kill journalists because you wanted them to get your side of the story. But now if you have an army of trolls, you don't want journalists to cover it. You don't want objective journalism. And so it's become, in many places, perfectly okay to kill them.
Yes, thank you so much. And we will just close now. And I'll just say, Michela, please don't be deterred. Keep on going. And we'd like to encourage our journalists as well to keep on going. Are there any questions before we close? No questions? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll just encourage everyone with a message, because just like my friend Tyler was here, speak about these issues and don't let it go. Share and talk with everyone in the community or in your circles. And I'd like to thank the Fabian Society for actually bringing up these foreign issues up to the discussions. And hopefully it's not the first, it's not the last one, but it's the first of many. So thank you so much and have a good evening.